Hi guys, this is Ravia and you're listening to the Brown Rants. Happy weekend. I hope you guys are having an amazing weekend. I really wanted to get this episode posted by early Saturday morning, but then this topic that I'm going to talk about came up to my mind on Saturday morning, and then I wrote a script. I really enjoy writing the script of this podcast. I did research and I also had to think and reflect and put my opinions and write it down, which was so good. And it was kind of for me journaling as well. There was just really enjoyed it. For the past few episodes, I was kind of going with freehand with the episodes, whatever come to my mind I'll say it. But with this episode I have everything prepared, and I used to do it in season 1, and I think I enjoyed season 1 more. Maybe that time because I didn't had an on-site job, maybe that's why. But it's okay, and I have decided from now onwards I'll do episodes in these formats, more like these style and research, and where you can learn everything. Obviously you would listen to a podcast you can connect to is great, but I think that I want to now make it just more knowledgeable, and us talking about just different topics and just discussing it and coming up with something. And even if you disagree with me, obviously there could be some topics I could have an opinion beforehand, and I could just discuss the difference in opinion and make it a healthy argument, so that it could just improve our critical thinking and our knowledge, right? But जहाँ तक weekend की बात है, my weekend is going pretty insane. I think I slept early last night. I was really happy for going back home on Friday. I was wow. I slept early, but I did woke up late, which is fine. Did my breakfast, then I had an hour Quran class, and we studied Surat Naziyat in it. It was so great. It was just a nice way to start morning. Then I kind of procrastinated a little bit, but right now I'm recording the podcast. Hopefully it will be up before the evening, but let's see how it goes. Other than that, there's nothing going on. Yeah, after getting the podcast up, I am gonna prepare for lasagna. We have a lunch tomorrow and of our neighbors, and I'm very excited for it, and I am making lasagna. I'm very excited. I know lasagna by fingertips now. So I'm just really excited to make it, and I hope that it turns out good. But this is my weekend plan, and then we just have the other week going on. I was really slacking off this week. I was not in my routine. On Wednesday I had this award show for my company. We went there. It was amazing. But I started today with stretching exercise. So we are, I think, back on it, and I would love to go for a walk. We need to get our legs going, and I walk very less. My step count is embarrassing at this point. Less step count, more screen time. We are in hell. Let's get into the topic. I'm gonna talk about how I feel about AI. Should we as a society be threatened by the existence and takeover of AI? And how do I feel about ChatGPT and things like that? Obviously, you guys must have seen that Gemini AI thing trend, and I am personally not in favor of it. I am against it, and I wanted to talk about it, but I thought that it would be good if I would talk about AI in general, and then also talk about the Gemini trend as well at the end. So when AI came, I think AI became mainstream in 2022. I know it existed since early 1900s, and we always heard about artificial intelligence when we were in school or in university, but I think it became more mainstream and accessible to public and more known to public since 2022. Now I graduated in 2022. So when this thing came in, I personally didn't put that much attention to it, because I heard a lot of students are using it for assignments and things like that, and I did not need it to make an assignment. I feel very good about being graduated before ChatGPT and AI came out, because my research paper was thoroughly my own thoughts and my own experience, and I did not have any drop of AI in it. The assignments I did were made by myself or with the help of my friends. There was no AI. So yeah, I feel pretty good about that. But at the same time, I think right now, obviously, things have changed so much in the past 2 years that now everyone is using it, and even teachers like now acknowledge it and they know that. But obviously, there are some boundaries that you need to be in, and there are some things that you need to like focus on, which we'll discuss like at the end after just discussing the whole AI thing. But I would not just like use AI. I was like, what is this thing? I was really against it when it first came in. I hated it. I did not know how ChatGPT looked like. Then I hated that it came in Instagram, it came in WhatsApp as Meta. I didn't really like it. Why would I need a chatbot in WhatsApp? Like that I would think. I would see people talking to ChatGPT, talking about their like personal thing, talking about, and I was just like really against this idea. But then I think maybe this year I kind of started using it with my office. There were like sometimes I had to write an email, but I would not find the best words to like write the email. I don't have the best, like I think I don't have a good vocabulary with words or kind of sounding professional. There are some emails where I had to like confront something or just say something, and I would hate drafting those. So I started taking help of ChatGPT for it, because everyone else would do the same. And I had like my co-workers would tell me that because they were like they're more recent graduates, so I would see they would tell them that they use ChatGPT, and like it's good to incorporate it. Even like when I was applying for jobs like a year ago, someone told me that you should like you should like update your LinkedIn and like ask ChatGPT, don't like copy paste it, but see what it says and like update your CV and LinkedIn according to it. Anyways, I started using it this year in office. And then with podcast, I would always struggle with the podcast title, so I started using it for my podcast title. So I tell ChatGPT, oh, my podcast is about this after recording, and then they tell me that these are the these are the like options for title, you can choose it. So for me, obviously it did made things easier for me in terms of these things where I personally am like, and there these two are most of the things where I myself cannot like, I'm not that good with words. But again, I tell myself it's not something I cannot work on. I can learn more words, I can just read more books and just enhance my vocabulary, or and I could like write these things on my own. And there was one day where I had to make this like, my manager told me to make this like Excel sheet. I am not that good with Excel. Like right now, I really want to be. It's such a necessary. If you're listening to this and you are somehow like studying finance or economics or like stats or something like that, even tech, please learn Excel. Excel. So like I was not that good at Excel, and she told me to make this sheet. Then I asked Excel to how to like do this function. Oh, I asked ChatGPT how to do this function. Obviously it told me, it worked out, it was good. But I still think that if I have known Excel, I have a better understanding of the formulas and everything I used, right? Abhi I use these formulas, but I have no understanding. I just copy paste it, so it would somehow would not have the same like quality of work and like the understanding of work that you need. And I fully acknowledge that and understand that. Now, with like when I was like thinking about AI and ChatGPT, I really just wanted to like go to the history of it and how it, when did it come, when did people got to know about it, and how it started becoming mainstream. So I think, so I just like, here's just a little knowledge that I like that I kind of like took from all the articles that I saw. And for the purity of this, like even like now, if you even type something on Google, the first thing that is suggested to you isn't like an AI answer, and then below that are articles. But for like this podcast, would like literally close my eyes and scroll down to like the articles, because I wanted to read the whole article in order to like have a better understanding and research and hear different opinions and point of view of people for these things. As I said, it became more mainstream now in 2022, but artificial intelligence is something that people have been working on since like early 1900s, and with time we have seen and used things that have AI in it, but now it's just more like accessible to every single person. But basically AI is like a specialty in CS that creates a system which can literally like duplicate and replicate, not duplicate but maybe replicate an intelligence of a human and their problem solving abilities. So there's this like whole mechanism that with like computer we know like it's like it sounds very like robotic, right? But with AI it's literally like replicating human intelligence, right? Or it's sort of an artificial brain that people from 1900 started to think about it, how can we do that? And even like if you think about like early days, we would always like if someone who have worked since the past like 20-30 years, they would know how things got automated with time. So we, the people who like work for, I think basically companies or like these social media apps like Facebook and things like that, they always are looking for um things where they can do less work and it can get automated. Like right now I work in a company and we are always finding solutions where we can do as less work as we can. Obviously that lessens my work, but we are always looking to automate things. And even Excel's formulas, they do, they automate things. So it's not like a new concept. It's always been happening, but now it's just like, again, more just like people, everyone can use it. First it was just being used maybe in companies, in like things where like people are maybe in businesses, like where there's money involved, or not just money, but there's like there's stats and there's data, and it's like not like daily use of someone who's just living a simple life, like, you understand, right? But interestingly, so I was seeing that I was seeing all those years where like people did like created this, which was like which people used, and it was kind of like steps to AI. So in 2010 Microsoft launched Xbox 350. So they had that, and it was also like a form of artificial intelligence, because it would like track our body movement and translate it into gaming direct. So we were like moving, and that the screen in front, somehow it was like replicating that thing, and which is like I never thought about it, but it was also like artificial intelligence. Then in 2011 there was Siri, which was introduced as like a visual assistant, and I am now, it's like my third year using Apple, and I never used Siri like once. So like I think that I am fine without this much tech, but obviously a lot of people use it. But yeah, so it's like it was there, and it was being introduced. It was just not that fast as it is now, right? Then obviously Google came up with Alexa, and all these like things that were like, but it was like different things for like different forms of like services, right? But then in 2020 there was this like company OpenAI. They started working on GPT-3, and what they would do is that, so they train these things, and they started training that like this system about like coding and poetry and other languages and every single thing in this world. Like they were training. Now here's the thing, initially I thought that if I ask ChatGPT something, it just gives me whatever is available like on websites and Google and research paper, and it's like very quick in researching. Like it does like in 1 second it just know like the word, and will give me everything that is already on internet. But today I got to know that, not maybe today, but I had this idea, maybe I never gave it that much thought, that it's also like they gave it like years of training in every single thing. Like they feeded every single thing. A human being feed it. Obviously a robot cannot know anything by its own. A human being fed all of these things, like trained basically all of these things in the system. But I think, but I don't know about Google. This is like, I literally like read so many articles about it, and they always this just use the word train. I don't know, but I think when it's search, it also would give you like immediately like the Google link or the article link of something that you want, especially like if you're in research, or like if you're doing some research or assignment वगैरह. So basically their purpose with GPT was for it to create content that is almost indistinguishable from created by human, like something I created. They wanted AI to create something कि आप मतलब कि डिस्टिंक्ट ना कर सको कि क्या चीज़ इंसान ने लिखी है और क्या चीज़ एक रोबोट ने लिखी है. And they kind of were successful with it, not gonna lie. In 2021, they added this feature where AI with GPT could understand images and languages. Like if you're sending a PDF, it will like read the whole PDF and tell you a summary within like maybe 10 seconds, maybe not even 10. So they added all of these things, and it was like, it obviously like it came in and it just conquered, unfortunately. And people obviously started using it, and people started using it for their assignments. And I also had like a whole discussion about it on my Instagram, that people started making like all these trends, people started making assignments. And let's talk about that. As someone who have not made assignments from ChatGPT, I right now am, if someone is like, oh, you have to make an assignment, I do not rely on ChatGPT for it. And I always think about it, and I give everyone this example that our parents or हमारे parents के parents, when they wanted to research, they literally would go to library and they would read every single book that was related to it. They would read every single article, news article, everything that was related to it, to do their research, to write a piece of research, right? For us, obviously we would just like type it on Google, and there were like so many articles available, and every single information available on our website that was like a click away. But we would have to read all those articles, go through everything, and give reference to the articles, and say things like, read that, understand that, but the words should be our own, right? Now with ChatGPT, you obviously, even if it's like something creative, you're like, oh, I need to like make an analysis on this company, ChatGPT can do that for you. But I heard that it's detectable in Turnitin, which is funny, which is not funny, which is like a good thing. And I like that you cannot really just copy paste from AI, like it's not happening. And I wish that if we have like AI, then we can also have something that can detect AI, and so that we have some sort of merit with grading like the students and their things, because that then it can be very unfair. Someone who have not even used an ounce of ChatGPT could get a lesser grade than someone who have made their whole assignment with the help of ChatGPT. So I think I have heard that even teachers can like now tell what's written by ChatGPT and what's their own. Obviously, if like 20 people are asking the same thing to ChatGPT, I don't think ChatGPT is gonna like, I haven't done this experiment, but I don't think ChatGPT is gonna reply with a different answer to every single person. So if you're giving an assignment to a whole class, if it's like, if there's similarity, obviously it's by ChatGPT. But here's the thing. When maybe you are piled up with a lot of work and you don't have personal passion towards the work, then maybe you would use ChatGPT to do it. But if you are passionate about something, you're creative, and you want your brain to be creative, you would never be satisfied with something that is written by ChatGPT and not by you. So people who are doing PhD or masters, doing their own research, writing research papers, would want their thing that is like completely written by them. It's completely their thinking and their critical thinking. And obviously I understand as a student, if you're in a class and everyone is using ChatGPT and you're not, so obviously you need to know, like you need to be in tabs with like the trend. I feel like you cannot like really reject it. And if everyone is using it, and even I have seen now in assignments, teacher have given like you can use AI but under these boundaries, so you can have those boundaries. But you would never be satisfied with some idea that came out of ChatGPT when you have your own brain to give that ideas, and your brain will get ideas for those things that you are extremely passionate about. When you're extremely passionate about something, then you would not let AI to have an idea in that when you have your own brain, right? And you can like do your analysis. For sure, for data you can use ChatGPT, and you can like it's more quick, and you can just know exactly what you want to know. Other opinion I have in that is that if you're like, if you need just one line and you're reading a whole page, so you can like get that one line that you wanted to know for your assignment or for your research, the whole page will still benefit you, will still learn something, you will gain something. So if you're reading a whole book for like one topic, you're still getting something out of it. But if you want, obviously this world have become so quick, if you want something quick, then obviously get the data from ChatGPT, but idea should be yours. When we make research paper, it should be an idea that I personally feel attached to, not something that is recommended by ChatGPT. I think with ChatGPT you can refine your ideas, but you cannot but it would not be creative if you are just like writing what it's saying. You can ask for its opinion, you can ask like other things, but you just have to like take it into consideration, come up with something on your own. Like for me, with my podcast and my podcast like ideas, this is like something I wanted to talk about. I can if I would have asked, oh ChatGPT, recommend me something to make a podcast on, and then would have asked ChatGPT to write me a script, then I am just narrating what ChatGPT is saying. I have no brain on my own, my brain is not thinking, my brain is not working, and I'm just doing what I'm being told. And that makes life, I think that just like takes the pleasure out of living and learning more and knowledge and education and things like that. So once you are just really like keen into education and just learning new things, coming up with your own like critical thinking and thinking stuff is a part of like, I think a part of nourishing, like kind of like inside nourishing yourself. Like if you're constantly thinking about something, not in a like a bad way, in a good way. Like I was right now thinking, so basically ChatGPT is also very bad for like the environment. So if you are searching for something on Google and then you're searching something on ChatGPT, what you're searching on ChatGPT is taking, I think, 5 times more energy than a simple web search. If you're searching something on Internet Explorer or Safari on Google, it and then on ChatGPT is taking 5 times more energy, which is bad for the environment, right? But now when you search on Google, the first thing that pops up is like the ChatGPT recommendation or ChatGPT answer to it. So I was thinking the AI answer to it, not ChatGPT, because every single company have their own AI ka whatever processor whatever. So I was thinking, if I'm doing a Google research and there's the first thing that is coming in is like by AI the answer, then is it still taking more energy? And I do not have the answer of it yet, but that are the things that you think when you like start, like when you are just not. If I was just like, even for this episode, if I just was just like asking ChatGPT, oh what should I am asking AI for AI, right? That does not make sense. So I think when you have certain passion towards something, you don't want it to be like automated. I just remember this like clip. I'm a huge Ghibli movie fan, and if you don't know Studio Ghibli, it's like a Japanese film company, and they make hand drawn animation. And you know, for like a 2 hour or 3 hour movie, for 1 second there are 7 frames. So for a 1 second clip, they make 7 frames by their hand, which is like a very tedious job. So the producer and like maybe the writer as well of Studio Ghibli, his name is Miyazaki. sorry for butchering his name. He was like introduced like the chat gpt, not chat gpt, AI, that this is something that could automate your animation, and it could be easier, you can release more movie, and it could like maybe cost less labor to you. And he was like, I would not have that in my movies, and I'm ashamed of it. And matlab, I don't exactly remember his words, but it's a very famous clip that I like, this would not, I would not allow this in my area. And I think because he's so passionate about his animations, about his work, he do not want this type of technology, because he knows it will ruin the essence of his the thing work he does. So for me, or everyone else, we should love our work this much that for us to maybe have it done by some machine should be an insult to us. And obviously it does not work with like every single form of business, because now obviously if it's a tech company, or if it's an accounting firm, or if it's like any sort of like in finance, I see this every day. We're literally just constantly, they're trying to have more and more like make it more and more automated. For like the company I work in, first we used to like, there were people who would do like see all the payments and all everything, and just do an analysis of like a client or something. Now you go to the client and it's like automated by AI that they paid this and this is like how they're performing. And first some human was doing all these things, but now it's just like it's already like automated. So obviously there is, for me, there is a threat that, oh, it's taking over, and I don't know, it might take over my job. What would I do? And for that you need to like be keep in tabs with AI and know that how it works, so that you know what you need to do, so that you cannot be replaced by AI. So that is more like the professional approach. With personal, as a student, you need to be creative. You cannot just, even with like your job or something, they would, if you are just like purely AI based, they would know, and they would obviously not hire you. They need people who are smarter than AI. And you need to like use AI, but you need to use it in your own favor. But that is not literally like, you're not losing your own brain. Whenever there will be an idea that you will come up with, you would have a better understanding of it, you will have better justification of it, you would able to find a better argument with it. If there's something that is AI is coming up with, even if you like relate to it, you still have to go back and ask AI, oh, what do you mean by that, what do I justify in that. And then that will like just, you will just lose the essence in like these things. So yeah, I hope that makes any sense. So yeah, so with taking over jobs, you need to like, there's a student life, there's a professional life. Let's talk about personal life. I have seen a lot of people who talk to ChatGPT, who have made ChatGPT their friends. There are like maybe portals that turn into that character, fictional character that you really like. They would talk like that. They will send you voice note maybe in that voice. And I have seen people just being very emotionally attached. They're asking every single thing about their life to chat gpt. They're flirting with it, they're doing like every single thing. Personally, if they're having argument with someone, they'll ask chat gpt that what should they tell them back. Now here's the thing, if being this much dependent on a robot is not good. And chat gpt, this I have literally have first hand experience with this, that chat gpt will tell you what you want to hear. If I have a fight with my sister and I'm telling ChatGPT this whole thing, this happened, obviously ChatGPT is gonna tell me what I need to hear. And if I'll oppose that, no, I think it will like foreign change its opinion. There's this research that this YouTuber did. I think his name is Alex. He did this like whole video where he's asking ChatGPT ethical dilemma के question. तो और उस पे चैट जीपीटी he dodged chat gpt, he confused it. So chat gpt is not perfect, chat gpt was confused by it, and मैं वो सुन रही थी, and even I knew a better answer for it than chat gpt. It's very easy to confuse chat gpt, especially when you're asking them questions like that are related to morals, or you had an argument with someone and you're presenting both sides, and ChatGPT takes your side, but you're like, I think that person was right, and ChatGPT was like, absolutely, you're right, they were right. So they would never oppose you, like they would just tell you what you want to hear. So, being this much dependent on your personal life decision on a robot can take away your critical thinking skills, that obviously is harmful in the longer run. ChatGPT also is now replicating art and artists and content writing, script writing. It's even making videos that are getting so many views on YouTube of people cutting like vegetables, ASMR videos that people used to do on their own. Now people are like just adding a prompt on ChatGPT. It's giving them that video. They're posting it on TikTok and they're making money off of it. Very easy money off of it. So obviously all of this is wrong. When it comes to art, we should not, like, ChatGPT should not be touched. I see so many Pakistani media portals that are now using ChatGPT to have like, instead of like editing pictures on of their own, if they want to like write a news or something, like there's the Instagram accounts like Propaganda or Daily Pakistan. I don't know specifically them, but I have seen big media portals that now are using ChatGPT's art as their to post something, so that they would like tell people to make thumbnails. So they're using ChatGPT's help to make thumbnails. Not help, like they're making their thumbnail from ChatGPT, giving them prompt, and it's making them thumbnail or graphic designing or editing, things like that. I think this is where there should be a line drawn, and this is where I think that it could be maybe. I know that even I am like, oh, we should boycott it and we should not use it. People still gonna use it. So this is where I'm like, oh, maybe should get banned or something. This is where I feel like, where the people who are like artists and like making things and sticking them hours, ChatGPT, the people are just using it for free and doing it, and obviously it's very easily identifiable. With there was this like Studio Ghibli trend that people were doing, and they were making pictures, like giving them pictures, and they were like making them as per Studio Ghibli. But even with those pictures, I could literally identify an animation that is made by ChatGPT in Studio Ghibli style, and an animation that is hand drawn and made by Studio Ghibli itself. So with art, it just breaks my heart whenever I see someone using it. I could obviously make my podcast cover from ChatGPT, but I would never do that, because that would like strip away the essence it is. This podcast cover that maybe you're seeing right now is human made, and you can tell because it's just have like all, it's very accurate, and I could give like all the detail. I do not believe ChatGPT could replicate something like that if I just tell them, oh, I need this and this. So I feel like with like art, I really strongly oppose the idea of ChatGPT, and I feel like the people who are in that community should as well, and they do as well. ChatGPT could never have the essence that something that is human drawn, human made, human filmed, human created, human written can have. With content creation, with writing scripts, with storytelling, I am like a huge fan of like listening to Reddit stories when I'm working, and there are some stories that are like written by AI, and it just always ruins the experience. If someone who writes script, they always have their own vibe to it, their own maybe personal connection to something, their own experience to something. ChatGPT is a robot with no emotions, so there would be no emotions the way a human can write. So for us, we need to identify these things, and we need to not consume the media that is generated by ChatGPT or art that is generated by ChatGPT. Let's move to the Gemini trend. So there's this trend going on since the past maybe 3 weeks, 2 weeks, that people are creating pictures. So there's this maybe a part of AI Gemini that got introduced. People give them pictures of them and someone else, and Gemini creates a picture of them with that person, and it's just very disturbing. I fully oppose it. I don't think anyone should do it. I don't feel the need to do it. I see people making pictures with Babar Azam, with Imran Khan, with this guy, leading guy from this show, The Samurai Turned Pretty, with actors, with Shah Rukh Khan. You do not need that. I saw this guy, a content creator on Instagram. he posted pictures, these type of pictures, with in a funny way, with this girl that is right now very famous. Her name is Shazadi. And she had like viral audio going on. See, he made very close intimate pictures with that girl, and I commented that this is very inappropriate, and this is not funny. Now that girl with whom he created those pictures with commented a laughing emoji under that post. Because of her comment, everyone came back to me and said she have given her consent, like she do not have any problem with it. I, as a girl, did not felt comfortable with someone using her face and posting such pictures where they're hugging and where they're standing next very close to each other. And if she have commented, maybe she does not know better, but I do. And if like one girl he created without asking her, without her consent, without anything, and after he made that video she replied to it. But since she replied to it, he would think since she loved it, he can make pictures with other girls like that as well. Even if it's a celebrity who have pictures, or public figure who have his or her pictures out on the media, you cannot create pictures like that. It's very harmful, it's damaging. Obviously it always existed. When I joined Facebook, we always had this like we always were scared of someone leaking our pictures and photoshopping it, because that time Photoshop was really big, and we would hear stories when there were creepy people who would take someone's picture and edit it and like on Photoshop and on like some other things, and it would be very bad. But with Photoshop, there was still some level of skill that was needed. Or if someone this creepy that badly wants Photoshop, then they would have to give someone money. So it was still not, even though it was like deeply dangerous, it was not accessible for every single person to use Photoshop and create pictures like that, because Photoshop is like a hard app to make pictures on. With AI, it's accessible to every single person. Anyone can go drop two pictures and make the worst out of it. And men are using it with like pictures with actresses, picture with other girls. It's just not good. We should not promote it. I know for some people there is some emotional value to it, and I understand, really understand that. And I cannot like talk about it as someone who does not know how it feels. But I feel like if you will see on a bigger scale, you should know that it could turn out very damaging for some people. And again, AI, on like, if that trend is bad, why should we against it? That trend is bad, and it could be used to damage someone's reputation, personality. It could trigger someone, it could be harmful for someone, it's inappropriate. Then we are also just like, as in like someone who does graphic designing or like does these things have a job, and it's like literally the art thing. You cannot like, I also oppose art being created by AI, because it takes away the essence, and people were working so hard to make those things, right? And at the end, it takes so much energy, and it's bad for the environment as well. So do I think that AI should not exist? Till some extent it should exist. For some things I feel like that I wish they do not exist. I cannot convince every single person to boycott it. Maybe for like, with more awareness, people will stop using it, or people will not feel the need to use it. But with like some things I'm okay with. Like if you want things to be automated, you like professionally, obviously it's gonna happen. I need to learn that how I can still like, how I can go with it to make myself smarter than AI, and to make my what I do something that AI cannot do. If someone wants help in assignment and they want to like fetch data, obviously it's like a good convenient thing that they can like do a quick search. From that they would just know like all the articles and all the data they want to access. But with art, with these things, I feel like that should not maybe exist. Also, I think for like personally, the more you just use it, the more just it's like very bizarring. Like imagine something coming out of your own brain and you coming up with it. it's kind of like when you use your brain more for these things, you kind of feel good, and your brain is kind of like in function, and you feel fresh and light. The less tech you use, the more fresh you feel. Like on weekends, if you're just not watching your screen for the 9 hours for work, it's just more refreshing and a change. So even for your like personal health, personal growth, I feel like the more you will be dependent on these things, the more harmful it will be for the longer run. It can be accurate in terms of maybe numbers and data, but it's not like very accurate. If I would ask ChatGPT, who is like the host of Brown Girl Rants, ChatGPT might not know the answer of it, obviously, because it's not that known of an thing. But like obviously it does not know every single thing, and the thing it knows is also fed by human beings. So there's a human being that is processing all of this, that is operating all of this. So do not let a robot take over you when you are the one who have made that thing itself, right? You should like always have your own thoughts and interpretation. It's very good for yourself, it's good for your mind, it's good for your soul. It's good to write things down. We need to like, when you will get like, the more older you get, the more you realize in a lot of things it's good to be manual, it's good to do it on your own. So never like let that thing own you. It's very important to think, and to like think about things where you can get more ideas, you can be more creative. It's just good for yourself. Like right now I crave to be creative. I crave to do things where I could be creative and have my own opinion and think and like do analysis, see everything and come up with something. So maybe with time everyone will obviously realize ChatGPT will never give you what your brain will give you, and I can assure that, because ChatGPT is gonna give the same thing to every single person. But what your brain's gonna come up with, that will only be with you, and you are gonna tell this to the whole world. You can obviously enhance it more, think about it more. So do not like, your brain is still your brain. Whatever is in ChatGPT's brain, that is inserted by you yourself. So with critical thinking, with moral values, to identify what is right, what is wrong, you need to read books, you need to have more human interaction, you need to learn from other people more, you need to like do all of these things, because these are the things that you need to have on your own. You shouldn't be dependent on ChatGPT to tell you what morally is correct, how to critically solve this issue, how to identify what is right, what is wrong. Your own brain should be able to do that. So yeah, this is what I think about ChatGPT and AI. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I personally really loved recording it, and I hope that it reaches out to as many people as possible. If there's any other topic you want me to talk about, I will, and I'll make my episodes more knowledge and research based, because I feel like there's just more you can like, I want people to like get something out of that. Obviously in the middle I'll make brain rot and range bit episodes as well, but at the same time I need my brain to keep going. I cannot keep complaining, and I need to learn more and just like journal more and think about things more, and for you to share those things with you guys, so that you guys can get something out of it, and it could do something to your curiosity. What it's called, I tried to search it on Google, but I cannot find it. But what I meant was that whatever I say, I hope that leads you to be curious about more things and doing and maybe searching on your own, then letting me know that actually, Ravia, this is what I found out. So I hope it does that. Let's see what I come up with. What topic would I come up in the next episode? If you have any idea, please let me know. And I'll see you guys next week. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the Saturday and rest of the Sunday, and whatever day you're listening it to, I hope you just have an amazing day and an amazing week. So bye.